The evening air was crisp as Olivia stepped out of the steaming shower, wrapping herself in a soft towel. The house was quiet, an unusual but welcome change. Her husband David had taken his son Ethan out for a quick trip to the store, and she had a rare moment of solitude. She relished the warmth of the towel against her skin as she made her way toward the bedroom, humming softly to herself. She was completely at ease, assuming she was alone. Reaching into her dresser, she pulled out a fresh pair of clothes. In the process, her towel loosened and fell to the floor. Just as she reached to grab it, the bedroom door swung open. Standing in the doorway was Ethan, eyes wide, frozen in shock. The moment seemed to stretch for an eternity. Olivia gasped, scrambling to cover herself, while Ethan immediately turned on his heel and bolted out of the room, stammering apologies as he disappeared down the hall. Olivia's heart pounded as she secured the towel around her again. She took a deep breath, trying to process what had just happened. She knew it was an accident. Ethan had no reason to believe she'd be standing there completely exposed. But the sheer awkwardness of the situation weighed on her. She dressed quickly, her mind racing with thoughts about how this might affect their relationship. Dinner that night was unusually quiet. Ethan kept his eyes glued to his plate, avoiding both Olivia's and David's gaze. David, unaware of what had transpired, chatted about their trip to the store, oblivious to the tension in the air. Olivia debated whether to address the situation or let it go, but when David got up to grab something from the garage, she saw her opportunity. "Ethan," she said softly, her voice laced with understanding about earlier. Ethan froze mid-bite, then slowly looked up, dread evident in his expression. "I'm really sorry, Olivia. I didn't know you were in there. I should have knocked." She offered a small smile, trying to put him at ease. "It was an accident. I just don't want you to feel weird about it, okay?" He nodded quickly, clearly relieved that she wasn't angry. "Yeah, okay. Thanks." Though he seemed grateful for the reassurance, Olivia could tell he was still mortified. Over the next few days, Ethan avoided her. He rushed past her in the hallway, kept conversations brief, and refused to make eye contact. Olivia hated seeing him uncomfortable, but she didn't want to force a conversation if he wasn't ready. One afternoon, Olivia decided to bake cookies, Ethan's favorite. The sweet aroma filled the kitchen, and before long, he emerged from his room, drawn by the familiar scent. He hesitated in the doorway before finally stepping inside. "Are those chocolate chip?" he asked cautiously. She smiled. "Your favorite." He shifted on his feet, then walked over and grabbed one. "Thanks." As he took a bite, Olivia seized the moment. "Ethan, I just want you to know that I don't want things to be weird between us." He sighed, setting the half-eaten cookie down. "I know. I felt so awkward. I didn't know how to act around you after that." She softened. "I get it, but I promise I don't think any differently of you. Let's just move on, okay?" He nodded, relief washing over his face. "Okay." From that day forward, things gradually returned to normal. Ethan no longer avoided her, and the easygoing dynamic they once shared slowly came back. Olivia was relieved, believing the awkward chapter was behind them. But she never could have expected what happened next. A few weeks later, David was away on a business trip, leaving Olivia and Ethan alone in the house for the weekend. She spent most of Saturday cleaning while Ethan played video games in the living room. That night, a sudden storm rolled in, bringing heavy rain and gusty winds. As Olivia settled into bed, the house shook from a particularly strong gust, and the power flickered before going out completely. A moment later, she heard a knock at her bedroom door. Ethan's voice was uncertain. "The power's out." She grabbed a flashlight from her nightstand and opened the door. Ethan stood there, looking uneasy. "I hate when the power goes out," he admitted. "It's kind of creepy." She smiled reassuringly. "It's just the wind. Come on, let's go find some candles." Together, they rummaged through the cabinets, finally finding a few candles to light the kitchen and living room. The flickering glow cast long shadows on the walls, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Ethan sat on the couch, clearly trying to play it cool, but Olivia could tell he was unsettled. She decided to distract him. "Want to play a board game?" she offered. He hesitated for a moment, then shrugged. "Sure." They set up a game, laughing as they played by candlelight. The tension from earlier faded, replaced by easy conversation and playful banter. Hours passed, and eventually, the storm calmed. They cleaned up the game, and Olivia stretched. "I think I'm going to try and get some sleep. The power will probably come back soon." Ethan nodded. "Yeah, okay. Good night, Olivia." She headed back to her room, feeling relieved that their relationship had fully returned to normal. But just as she was about to drift off, a loud crash jolted her awake. Heart pounding, she sat up and listened. It had come from outside. She quickly grabbed the flashlight and tiptoed to the living room, where Ethan was already peeking out the window. "I think something fell in the backyard," he whispered. Olivia took a deep breath and unlocked the back door. She stepped outside, shining the flashlight around. One of the large branches from the old oak tree had snapped and landed near the fence. Nothing dangerous, but the sound had certainly been alarming. As she turned to go back inside, she tripped over something in the dark and stumbled forward. Ethan, who had followed her out, caught her just in time. "Whoa, you okay?" he asked. She laughed nervously, brushing herself off. "Yeah, just lost my footing." He exhaled in relief. "Let's get inside before the power comes back and we look ridiculous standing out here." They headed back in, and as they settled back in for the night, Olivia couldn't help but feel grateful. Despite the awkward incident weeks ago, their relationship had returned to a place of warmth and comfort. The storm had brought unexpected chaos, but in the end, it had solidified something important. No matter what, they were family, and nothing would change that.